how the establishment of Pakistan versus Imran Khan will end. There is a country whose democracy is shaking like a house during an earthquake. In the middle of this storm that never ends, one man, a hero who is now locked up. Who is against him? There is a mysterious and very powerful group that wants to stay in power at all costs, like puppet masters pulling strings from behind a silk curtain. In Pakistan right now, this is not a far-fetched political thriller. It's the harsh truth of life. Even though Adila jail is quiet, but Imran Khan's name is being heard all over Pakistan like a drumbeat. He was Prime Minister of Pakistan, but now he is in prison for almost 2 years. He looks like a valuable piece in a high-stakes game of chess where the rules are always being changed. What if this problem lasts longer than expected? What if this is just the beginning of a well-thought-out plan to permanently remove one of Pakistan's most well-known and, let's be honest, the most strong and valuable politician? The military-backed government is often seen as the public face of this powerful group. Some even say they said it out loud. Letting Imran Khan go free is like setting a wildfire that threatens their power, and they need to put it out. He ran for office promising a Naya Pakistan, or New Pakistan. Now, he is in a lot of trouble with the law, because he's facing more than 150 cases. How much does it cost? They say a lot of different things, from saying the Al-Qadir Trust was corrupt, to saying they wanted to start a fight. Khan and his supporters yell from the rooftops that these investigations are politically motivated and part of a larger plot to destroy Khan's career, one piece at a time. Since August 2023, he's been in Adiala jail. This is a big change for a leader who people used to really like. Possible bail hearings were a brief sign of hope, and one was even planned for June 11th, 2025 for the Al-Qadir Trust case. But the main story is still one of constant legal pressure. These charges and sentences seem to appear and disappear all the time, like a mirage in the desert. Many critics believe that this makes the judiciary's compass very skewed, with the establishment's magnetic pull making the needle move. The establishment is across the way. Everyone in Pakistan knows that this is a polite term for the military, the intelligence agencies, and their allies who are involved in politics and daily life. For decades, this deep state has been like an invisible hand steering Pakistan's politics and choosing who walks the plank and who steers. A group of civilian governments is led by the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, PMLN, and the Pakistan People's Party, PPP, backs them up. A lot of people believe that the establishment is behind them, like actors following a script written by a director they haven't seen. There is one main goal behind everything they say and do. They want to keep Imran Khan out of politics and on the sidelines, where he can watch instead of play. They see his possible return as more than just a political threat. They see it as an earthquake that could destroy all the power they have worked so hard to gain. Freedom for one person isn't at stake here. This is a fight for the very core of Pakistani democracy. Figure out the alleged strategy in part 2 of the investigation. Is this the end game to get Imran Khan out of politics? The fight doesn't end with one big hit. Instead, it looks like a well-thought-out, multifaceted plan that was put into action and is being carried out without any mercy. You can think of it as a slow, grinding siege, like a boa constrictor slowly making its coils tighter. Its goal is to keep him out of politics for good. Let's try to figure out what this plan is made up of. Part 1, the legal maze, death by 1,000 cases. Over 150 lawsuits have been filed so far, and more are on the way. This is without a doubt the main weapon. That doesn't look like a calm search for justice. Instead, it looks like a plan to beat him over and over again until he gives up. Every case, even ones that don't have any merit, comes with big legal fees, long court dates, and bad news. Khan and his lawyers are supposed to be worn down by being called corrupt and careless in public over and over again. People have been given long prison terms for crimes, like in the cases of the Al-Qadir Trust and Tosha Khana state gifts. For a short time, some sentences have been put on hold or even overturned on appeal. But new charges keep coming up out of nowhere, which keeps Khan stuck in the courts. What about the courts? The light has been shining on it in a very bad way. The courts don't seem to have been willing to give Khan any breaks. They seem to be very careful about what they do, like a ship captain always asks the admiral on land for advice before moving. Hearings are often pushed back because judges leave or prosecutors ask for more time. In this case, Khan and Bushra Bibi's bail hearing was pushed back from June 12th to June 26th, 2025. Because of this pattern, some people have said that the courts can't or won't work on their own. People told Khan in May 2025 that his appeal against a 14-year sentence in the Al-Qadir Trust case probably wouldn't even be heard that year. This would leave him without a lawyer. Why do people keep putting things off? It's a strong weapon. A court in Lahore that deals with terrorism turned down a police request for more tests on Khan in June 2025. The judge told the police that they had already missed their chance. Some people think that this is just another way for him to put off dealing with his legal issues and not a real effort to find justice. Khan will always have another case to deal with, even if he wins one. It's like a legal hydra that grows new heads as soon as one is cut off. It's a war of attrition in the law. Step 2, cutting off the PTI's head and spreading its body out will break it up. If you want to stop Imran Khan, you also need to weaken his party, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI. If you hit your head and then try to kill your body, you're done. The powerful people in the world know that Khan's real power comes from his relationships with regular people and the PTI's organizational strength, which is its politicians. After Khan was arrested, and especially after the attacks on military bases during the protests on May 9, 2023, the government began a major crackdown on the PTI. Many people who worked for or supported the party were arrested, and many of them had to go to tough anti-terrorism courts. It is said that after the events of May 9, more than 9,000 PTI supporters were arrested. A lot of important PTI leaders quit the party because of this crackdown. A lot of people were said to have been forced to quit or speak out against what happened on May 9th. Some even switched sides, like sailors leaving their captain behind as they leave their ship in a storm. They were not able to lead well after this. Gohar Ali Khan was named PTI chairman, and Omar Ayub Khan was chosen as a candidate for prime minister. However, Imran Khan is still the party's clear leader and most powerful symbol. Still a lot of stress. Anti-terrorism courts didn't start making decisions in May 9 riot cases until June 2025. It was said that a PTI member of the National Assembly had been found guilty. This is a clear sign that the party is having more and more legal issues. The plan from the state also meant to hurt PTI in the elections. It was hard for PTI to get ready for the general elections in February 2024. It caused a lot of controversy when the cricket bat, which was their famous election symbol, was taken away. It was like a knight being disarmed and having his sword broken right before a big battle. People couldn't go to party rallies, and the media couldn't say much about Khan. There are reports that TV stations were not even allowed to say his name, as if he were a political drac monster. Even with all of these problems, the most seats were won by independent candidates backed by the PTI. This is proof of how well-liked Khan is and how much support the PTI has at the local level. They were smart, but in the end, they were caught. They tried to form a government, but were stopped by a coalition of rival parties that many people believe had the support of the establishment. It looks like the establishment is determined to construct a permanent wall, a political fortress, to prevent the PTI from regaining power at the federal level. Some people have even said that the party should not happen at all, which would be like trying to put a strong, rebellious genie back in its bottle and shut the lid. Art 3. It's a war of perception to control the media and shape the story. In politics today, how people see things often shapes reality, like how a sculptor shapes clay. A complicated information war seems to be going on between the government and the media over what is said about Imran Khan and the PTI. How? To begin, by directly censoring the media. As we already said, sometimes it was almost against the rules to mention or show Imran Khan's name or picture. Threats, harassment, and even kidnappings have been made against journalists and media outlets that are thought to support the PTI or be critical of the establishment. By spreading fear, this makes people censor themselves, and the media often sings the same song over and over again to support the official line. Second, they are trying to tell a different story. The media, controlled by the government and conservative commentators, always say that Khan is dishonest, unable to do his job, and a danger to the stability of the country. Those protests on May 9th, a lot of people heard about them as an attack on the state, and the story was told in the worst possible terms. People in the military said they would bring all planners and masterminds to justice. This was a clear shot at Khan and the leaders of the PTI. They want this story to make Khan and his supporters look bad, so that it makes sense to crack down on them. Third, the business has been trying to make itself look better. For instance, the military became very well liked after fights with India on the border in May 2025. There was a poll in Pakistan by Gallup that found 93% of people liked the military more. The army chief was even made a field marshal. This newfound trust in the military, which was heavily pushed by the government, indirectly makes it easier for the establishment to fight political opponents like Khan. It's harder for the PTI to get people to back them up against an institution that many people see as the country's stronghold. Controlling the flow of information is like being an artist and being able to change people's minds. This is how Khan was able to shut himself off from the rest of the world and slowly lose support, though his most loyal fans are still with him. Part 4. Being politically alone. No friends, no way out. A big part of this plan is to leave Imran Khan politically stuck, both at home and abroad, like a lost person on an island by himself. The coalition government, made up of the PMLN and the PPP, is against Khan. Now these two political enemies are working together to stop Khan from becoming president. It's like they're strange bedfellows with the same goal. There are rumors that some high-level PTI members have secretly made connections with the military. They may have done this to mess things up, or to keep the party's supporters from getting too excited. This would be like a diplomatic channel within the country, around the world. Things are more complicated. States and rights groups in the West are worried about how fair Khan's trials are, and how the government is generally putting down dissent. Still, there hasn't been a lot of real pressure from other countries, more like worried whispers than a loud roar of concern. The US State Department has mostly said that Khan's legal issues should be dealt with by Pakistani courts. There were people in the PTI who thought that if Trump won the election, it would put pressure on Khan to be freed, because he and Trump were friendly in the past. This is still just a guess, a far-off hope that probably won't change what the establishment plans to do. There has been no doubt from the Pakistani government that they do not want any outside help. There are also new reports that the relationship between the US and the Pakistani military has gotten a little better. This could mean that Khan's supporters don't have as much power over the US as they thought they would. Khan has sometimes sent a lot of different things. There are times when he wants to talk to the establishment for Pakistan's sake. And then there are times when he says he won't make any deal for his freedom. It's like he's not sure what he wants. They have been very clear in public that they will not make any deals with Khan, and so has the government they back. A government worker named Rana Sanullah said that the PTI could talk about changing the election rules, but he didn't think there was any way to get Khan out of jail. Khan is being kept out of politics by making it impossible for him to have strong allies, international saviors, or any other way to get back into politics. It's like being locked out of a big game and not having a spare tea. I think Imran Khan's main challenge was to the military's long-held control over Pakistani politics, which they protect, like a dragon watches over its eggs. Khan didn't hold back after a vote of no confidence got rid of him in April 2022. He said in public that he was fired because of high-level military officials, including the army chief at the time. People have always thought that institutions could not be harmed, so this was like poking a sleeping bear with a very sharp stick. A lot of people really related to what he said, especially young Pakistanis who are sick of the military meddling in civilian government all the time. Khan portrayed himself as a supporter of civilian supremacy, which directly challenged the establishment's carefully crafted image as the best guardian of national interest. Even after he left office, he became very popular, and his party could get a lot of people together. This was an immediate and clear threat to the status quo. Second, Khan's politicians were seen as too dangerous because they were hard to predict and often got into fights. People in power like politicians who are flexible and play by the rules that aren't written down. Also, they want politicians to follow the military's red lines. Khan, on the other hand, was different. He was a wild card. It is important for the orchestra to play perfectly, with all the instruments in tune. Khan, on the other hand, was the rock star who could do anything. He ended the symphony by singing an improvised guitar solo. People often said that his fight against corruption was too selective, and he liked to talk to people directly instead of going through the normal political channels. These things made him hard to control. People in power cared most about keeping things stable and under control. They probably saw Khan's political style as a dangerous ruckus that could upset the delicate balance between the military and civilians that they had worked so hard to maintain for decades. Third, the protests on May 9, 2023 were a big mistake that changed everything. It was wrong for the military to let PTI supporters attack military bases like the General Headquarters GHQ in Rawalpindi and the House of the Corps Commander in Lahore. For a group that takes pride in being strict and unbeatable, these events were a huge embarrassment and a direct challenge to its authority. They were like getting hit in the face in public. Asim Munir, Chief of Army Staff, strongly reacted, calling the protests a hate-ripened and politically driven rebellion against the state. This gave the establishment the public reason it needed to go after Khan and the PTI in a big way, making them look like they were not only political opponents, but also enemies of the state. Their story, which is often told by the current government, is that what they're doing is needed to keep the country stable, protect state institutions from attack, and uphold the rule of law. People say Khan's politics were risky and caused anger, and if he stayed in office, there would be chaos and anarchy. In the case of Khan, Information Minister Atullah Tarar said that the protests by the PTI were political theater and that the law was just doing its job. People who are against it say that these reasons, which are put forward as national interests, are really just a smokescreen for other reasons. What's really going on is that the establishment wants to get rid of a strong political threat and regain full control over Pakistan's politics, making sure they stay king of the jungle. They believe Imran Khan's crime wasn't corruption or bad governance, but being brave enough to challenge their position as leader. In Section 4, we talk about what this means for democracy in Pakistan. The ongoing fight between Imran Khan and the establishment is more than just a battle for political power. It has serious, and to be honest, very scary effects on Pakistan's democracy's future. Democratic institutions and norms may be being destroyed in a planned way. The country would take a terrible step backwards, like a clock being violently turned backwards. It might take years or even decades to get back to where it was. Right now, the biggest change is that there is less room for politics, which is scary because it feels like people who disagree are being pushed out. There were a lot of arrests, a crackdown on the PTI, claims that civilian cases were heard in military courts, and strict limits on free speech and gathering. All of these things send a scary message to anyone who might want to question the official story. What chance do smaller parties or lone rebels have if the PTI, which is led by the charismatic Imran Khan and is very popular, can be broken up in a planned way like a ship hitting rough rocks? You feel like you're walking a tightrope without a net when you speak out because of fear and self-censorship. There isn't any real political debate, and people aren't held accountable. Human Rights Watch and other international groups have spoken out many times against the worsening of human rights conditions and the attempts to silence critics and the media. And then there's the fact that Pakistan's elections have been called into question, which is like a famous fighter getting hit hard and making them feel dizzy. A lot of people said that the elections in February 2024 were rigged, manipulated, and meant to stop the PTI from running. When the PTI's election symbol was taken away, they had to fight with one hand tied behind their back. They were also not allowed into government, even though they won the most seats in the election. A lot of people no longer believe that the election process is fair because of it. People will lose faith in democracy if they think of elections as a staged show, with someone controlling the action behind the scenes, instead of a real way for people to voice their opinions. This is similar to acid eating away at metal that is very strong. In its yearly report, PILDAT, the Pakistan Institute of Legislative Development and Transparency even said that the problems with the Election Commission and the government's controversial laws were very bad for democracy in 2024. It's sad that so many people feel like democracy is falling apart. A lot of people have also said bad things about the role of the courts, which doesn't seem fair. Many people believe that the courts may be giving in to pressure from the powerful, and it is clear from how Khan's cases and the larger crackdown have been handled. This makes a very important part of any democracy less strong. It's possible for democracy to fall apart if this pillar gives way. To protect people's rights and keep the rule of law, we need our own court system. That is when courts look like tools in a political workshop, used to change the outcome instead of giving people justice. This puts the idea of justice itself at risk. Political instability that lasts for a long time, and the feeling that the system is being manipulated and controlled, scare investors away and slow down long-term growth. In a white paper released in June 2025, the PTI said that the PDM government was stifling economic growth and making it easier for elite capture of the country. This means that the powerful were fixing the system to help themselves. As the government tries to reach a deal with the IMF, the economy is in such bad shape that it feels like they are wrestling a very slippery bear. Things are even less certain now because of the political unrest, which makes any recovery seem like it would be built on quicksand. In early 2025, Imran Khan himself said that the current fascist system makes it impossible for the economy to grow. He even said there was a plan for a dictatorship for 10 years. The establishment's supposed plan to get rid of Imran Khan might help them stay in power in the short term. It might hurt Pakistan's democratic spirit for a long time, or even forever, like a poison that slowly spreads through the country. It makes individuals and groups less tolerant, further divides society and supports the idea that Pakistan's real power lies not with its elected officials, but with a deep state that is not accountable to anyone and is not elected. Pakistani democracy is being put to the test by this ongoing conflict. Will it be able to withstand this attack, or will it give in to a stronger form of authoritarianism that looks like civilian rule? Pakistan is in a tough spot, and things are always shifting like a chessboard. Everyone, inside and outside the country, needs to know what's going on and give the news a lot of thought. Should the establishment make this plan? What do you think about it? How do you think it will affect democracy in Pakistan? Should we do this to keep things stable, or is it a dangerous path? Feel free to tell me what you think below. Here is a breakdown of some important world issues. If you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more.